Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy!
That's me, Tiberius!
And welcome to the Tiberius Show today, and I'm your host, Tiberius Boy! And as always, we're looking at various jobs and how they affect the world around us. Well, today's is going to be very interesting. We're going to talk to a guitar teacher. Do you have any idea what a guitar teacher does? Well, I think I got a funny feeling that he teaches a guitar, but hey, let's find out. Well, let me introduce our next guest, the one, the only, the amazing Phry McDustan!
Hi, Tiberius. Great to meet you.
Good to meet you as
and
well.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Okay, so you were listed as a guitar teacher. Well, how did you get into playing guitar?
I started playing the guitar at a relatively late age when I was already 18 years old. And before that, I mostly listened to music and would sometimes write lyrics. But one night I saw the music video for the song Sweet Child of Mine by the band Guns N' Roses on TV. And seeing their guitarist Slash play his guitar and rock out inspired me to become a guitarist myself.
Nice. So, when you started with the guitar, did you know that you're going to be teaching others?
I knew from the first week of playing that I wanted to become a musician and play guitar every day. And I mostly practice guitar, write new music, and teach to earn some money on the side. But back when I started playing, I met two fantastic guitar teachers who really helped me become a good player and songwriter. And the way they taught me inspires my teaching as well, to this day even.
Nice. So, what about the guitar just got you hooked?
First, it's such a wonderful way to express yourself and find your own voice because you can almost talk with your guitar, at least more than you can with most other instruments. And it also showed me discipline, made me a calmer and better person, I'd say. And it's really easy to find new friends when you're new somewhere and have a guitar on you to entertain people.
Okay. Well, what's harder to do? Play the guitar or teach someone to play it?
I think at first, both things are pretty hard. Like being a good musician and a good teacher require lots of experience. But learning to play your instrument doesn't necessarily demand great social skills. While when you become a teacher, you have to learn how to motivate people, how to listen to them so you better understand what they need. And in order to get better at playing, and be be really patient with people as well who are only making very slow progress, for instance. And at first I found all these things pretty hard, but after teaching more and more students, I also learned these skills, which is why I previously mentioned that the guitar also made me a better person.
Okay. So what's the best part about working as a guitar teacher?
I'd say being able to help people in their musical endeavors, and teaching enables me to focus on my music and being able to just play the guitar every day, because like when you work at a normal 8-hour day job, it's there's almost no time for practicing music and become really good.
Well, now here seems like a good time to take a quick commercial break. Let's hear a word from our sponsors.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of their dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering to trophies and awards. The cool part about Custom Designs is they can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373 and tell them that
Tiberius
sent you.
And we are back here talking with Phry McDustan. Phry is a guitar teacher and rock guitarist. So, Phry, it says here that you're a rock guitarist. I saw some of your videos and they were awesome. Well, why did you select rock versus other types of music?
Well, thanks. I feel very free being a rock guitarist because rock allows you to incorporate almost any other musical style into your playing, which I always did because I also play the blues, funk, metal, acoustic music like folk and singer-songwriter stuff. And I can always take all these musical styles and combine them with rock, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, can you play something for me?
Sure thing. I got my guitar right here next to me, so let me quickly grab it
Okay.
and readjust the camera a bit.
Dang, nice. Good job.
Thank you.
No problem. Well, I noticed that some of your music were just music only and no talking. Well, I don't normally see that. Well, was there a reason you decided not to have a singer?
Yeah, I mean, instrumental guitar music has been around for many, many decades, actually, and lots of the guitarists who like influenced me as a player, like Joe Satriani, Jeff Beck, and Paul Gilbert, are mostly doing instrumental music. So when I became a solo artist, I wanted to try the same, while at the same time still write songs with vocals. So I decided to do both at the same time.
Okay. Well, I got to see some of your videos, and they were in a lot of different places. And I know how hard it is to keep one studio working, but how'd you set up at so many locations? Like, do you have your studios like a mobile system?
Well, like when I shoot a music video, what you see in it is just me doing like a playback version of the already recorded song. And every music video that's not a live concert that you see on TV or YouTube is done the same way. So what we do is we often scout for interesting locations, like in and around my hometown of Cologne. And once we found an interesting place, we come up with like an interesting concept for what we'd like to film. But the music is always pre-recorded long before that, and I do that at home and at my rehearsal studio where I can play and record really loud without disturbing any neighbors.
Yeah. So, which of the locations was the hardest to record in?
That was probably filming the music video for the song The Odd One Out, because that was like, I think, only the second music video we ever filmed, and we filmed that in an abandoned greenhouse. And we had so many ideas
Oh,
and
wow.
shot the video over the course over an entire day and also at night, which was like a real challenge.
Ah. Well, I saw one where you painted the lyrics all over the walls. Well, did you have to clean it up afterwards?
No, luckily I didn't, because um, we filmed that in an abandoned factory hall where lots of other
Ah.
sprayers also do their art. And I think most of the lyrics are probably still there if these sprayers haven't already painted over them.
Nice. Well, when I mess up, I have to do it again. Well, do you have to ever play the same song over and over to get the sound right?
Oh yeah, like whenever I record a song and there's like a really difficult part, like maybe a guitar solo, I sometimes do a lot of takes, which can be a challenge, but it's also fun because you know that like all that repetition will make you
Better
become a better
player.
musician. Yeah, right. Eventually.
Yeah. So, what does your family say when you told them that you were going to be a musician?
Oh, at first they weren't too happy to hear that, but since I was already over 18, they couldn't really do anything to stop me. And today, like, where now that they see how happy I am and that I can make a decent living with it, they're okay with it.
Okay. So, why did you decide to start teaching guitar instead of doing like a rock band or something?
I did both things at the same time, but when you're a really serious musician it's often very hard to find like-minded people who take their music just as serious. And at one point, my old band broke up, and after having worked with too many unmotivated musicians, I decided to become a solo artist because like bands break up all the time, and then all
Yeah.
of the hard work was pretty much for nothing. And being a solo artist enables me to keep growing. And even though I just started doing that like 2 years ago, I have already had more successes than I've had with my old band. So
Wow.
that's really rewarding, you know.
Yeah. So, what's the most rewarding part about being a guitar instructor?
That's seeing how my students like become really, really good over time. Because when like most of my students have never played guitar before they came to me, and then teaching them their first basic chords and all about rhythm, and soon seeing how they get better and better. That's a pretty cool thing.
Okay. Well, is it hard to learn to play guitar?
Um, if you find a good teacher and if you practice every day, it's not as hard as it probably used to be, because nowadays there's also like YouTube and DVDs and lots of guitar magazines around to help you. But I think finding a good teacher who inspires you is still the most important thing and will make things a lot easier.
So, what is the best age to start to learn to play guitar?
You can start playing at any age. Of course, it's still best when you're still a kid, because you'll have more time than when you're an adult. But I only started playing the guitar when I was 18 years old, and I became a professional musician nonetheless. But I must admit that I had to like make up a lot of time at the beginning. So I practiced up to 6 hours every day after school, and up to 12 hours during the weekends. And
Wow.
if I never had found like my first two guitar teachers, um, I wouldn't have made so much progress in such a short amount of time as well.
That's cool. Well, what's the best part about playing guitar?
To me, that is expressing my feelings and emotions and being able to reach lots of different people from all over the world with my music.
Okay. So, is being a guitar instructor a good business to get into?
Yeah, if you work independently, it is, and if you know how and where to find new students. If you work at a music school, for instance, you'll have to work more hours and get paid less.
Okay. Well, does it cost a lot to get into this business?
That depends on how you look at it. Like, first, you'll have to become a good musician in order to be able to teach people music. So, guitar lessons are pretty expensive. And I also paid my old teachers a lot of money over the years. And then
Yeah.
there's like music equipment, like guitars, amplifiers, and all that stuff, which can also be very expensive. So yeah, you'll have to invest some money to become a guitar teacher or a musician in general. But I think starting any kind of business requires some form of investment first.
Ah, I see. So, what's the hardest part about teaching someone to play guitar?
That's always knowing what your students need, and or your student needs, like all the individual students, and know how to work with different types of people, because some people learn faster while others need more time.
So, what's the hardest part about teaching someone to play guitar?
I'd say always knowing what your student needs and how to work with different types of people, because some people learn different than others.
Okay. So, do you write your own music or work with a team?
I write and produce my music on my own, but I found a great drummer and lead singer through online portals for musicians. And they take my ideas and elevate them because they are really outstanding in their respective fields and make my ideas their own, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you teach any other instruments?
Yeah, I can teach people bass and ukulele as well. And I also taught music theory to people who make electronic music, for instance, before. But I mostly teach acoustic and electric guitar.
Okay. So, what's the craziest thing that has happened while you were doing your passion?
The craziest thing was hearing from some of my fans how my music has helped them through very difficult and tough times. Because, like, hearing that from complete strangers was really something
Yeah.
else, and that made me really, really happy.
Mm-hmm. So, if someone wanted to learn guitar, what is the first thing they should do?
They should definitely find a great guitar teacher to help them make faster progress and inspire them. Because even with all the YouTube videos and everything else that's available nowadays, nothing beats working with someone face to face. That's still the best way to approach learning
Mm-hmm.
your instrument. Yeah.
Well, what is that one song that you're most proud of?
Um, I think it's always the latest song I wrote, because coming up with new original ideas can sometimes be very hard. And whenever a new song is fully written and produced, that's always a great feeling, kind of a feeling of relief.
Mm-hmm. Well, who can you say was the person that helped drive your passion the most?
Apart from like all the famous musicians like Slash, Joe Satriani, or Jimmy Page, for instance, both my guitar teachers really inspired me to become better and better every day, and gave me lots of priceless advice along the way. And without their advice, I probably wouldn't have become a professional musician. Since like when I started playing on my own for like the first 2 months, I made every mistake imaginable because I never played an instrument before, and I didn't have a clue about anything regarding how and what to practice, and the instrument itself.
I see. So, what advice would you give to my listeners if they wanted to grow up and be a guitar instructor?
Well, apart from finding and working with a great guitar teacher that will inspire you, don't just play and practice one music style, but take a look at as many different styles and techniques as possible to be able to teach students from all walks of life and with various different interests.
Okay. So, would you give different advice if they wanted to be a rock star?
Yeah, I would tell them to become as self reliant as possible and also learn a lot about the business side of music, because the days where musicians are able to rely on managers and record labels to handle their business are long gone. And a modern musician has to know how to market himself and take care of all sorts of things, and not just the music.
Yeah. So, what's the best advice that you've ever received, and who gave you that advice?
That's probably finding my own voice on the instrument. And that advice was given to me by both my guitar teachers. And that's not like, that's a rare thing, because I've worked with students who have worked with other guitar teachers before they came to me. And I heard like real, like horrible stories of uninspired guitar teachers who never really taught them anything.
Uh,
And I was very, very lucky to have found these guitar teachers that I've worked with, because they saw that I had a drive and ambition, and they really facilitated that.
mm-hmm. So, what was the very first job that you've ever had?
Oh, my first job was working for a company that supplied other companies at trade fairs with furniture, and that was a very
Huh.
exhausting job, and I did not really enjoy working there.
Okay, well, was there anything you learned from that job that helped you be a better guitar instructor slash guitarist?
Only that working regular jobs is not something that's for me. Like, I also worked several other jobs before I became a full-time guitar teacher and musician, and I never really enjoyed them. But I guess that had to be done in order to make some money, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, what message do you want to tell children all over the world about doing the work that you do?
Um, Being creative and playing guitar every day is the best thing I can imagine. So I'm very grateful to be able to do that.
Well, on that note, let's take a quick break to pay some bills. And we are back here with amazing rock guitarist and instructor, Phry McDustan. Okay, now my dad said that you lived in Germany. Is that very different from the United States?
I'd say not really because like we have a similar culture over here. Like we watch the same movies and play the same video games, for instance. But and we also have freedom of speech and are free to choose what we want to do with our lives.
Mm-hmm.
But what I really like about living in Germany or Europe, for that matter, is that since Europe is not as vast as the US, I can travel to so many different countries like Spain, England, France, or Italy, for instance, in just under 5 hours. And that's a pretty
Wow.
cool thing since I like to meet people from other cultures and see lots of
Yeah.
different places.
Wow. Well, I didn't notice that you have over 3,000 subscribers. Congratulations! Well, I've been doing videos for a few years now and I get a lot of views, but how do you convert those views into subscribers?
Most of my subscribers subscribe to my channel because of the instructional guitar videos I uploaded. So I
Ah,
think offering people something useful really helped with that.
okay. Well, do you get do you have any more advice for content creators to get more attention on different platforms?
Yeah, I'd say like what's more important than subscribers or views is connecting with people on a real personal level because these people are more likely to support you financially when you have something like merch or new music to offer. And I do that by running ads on social media and inviting people to join my ever growing community on Facebook, for instance, or get on my email list. And that's a pretty safe way to earn some money.
Okay. Well, if you could go back 10 years and tell yourself something, what would it be?
Oh, first I'd probably tell myself to quit my old band right away since that band never really got anywhere. But and learn as many things about the music business, of course. Oh, and maybe also invest in cryptocurrency because back then not many people did, and the potential for growth was still incredibly high.
Yeah. Well, what was the biggest mistake you have ever made, and how did it change you as a person?
Well, apart from trying to keep my old band together for too long, I should have started exercising much earlier because when you're a musician, you are always sitting down like way too much. And
Yeah.
I already struggle with back pain a lot.
Dang. So, when you're not working, what do you do for fun?
I love to be outdoors in the summer, so I often go hiking with friends and spend a lot of time at a very beautiful lake nearby where I can go swimming and do stand up paddling. And because of the back thing, I also work out almost every day and I lift weights, and that's really healthy and fun, at least for me, it is. I also love to read and learn about history. I watch movies and I play with my cat Tiger, who is my best friend.
Ah. So, do you play video games? And if you do, what is your favorite one?
Yeah, I stopped playing video games when I picked up the guitar because I had
Ah.
to practice so much and enjoyed that more than playing. But back then, my favorite game was called Shadow Man, and that was a
Ah.
pretty cool but scary action adventure with lots of voodoo elements and a great story.
Well, now do you even play them on your phone?
No, I only use my phone for like calling people or like surfing on the internet.
Ah. So, what is your favorite book to read then?
I like to read nonfiction books about history and interesting people. Um, and since I have a lot of books I really like, it's pretty hard to pick one. But one of my favorites is definitely Nelson Mandela's autobiography because he was such an interesting and also like very brave person.
Mm-hmm. Now, can you tell me this one story? You know, remember, this is a kid's show, but that one story. that you're not supposed to tell me about. Come on, you can tell me.
Okay, so yeah, here's a little secret that not many people know, but we had to sneak into a lot of the places where we filmed my music videos, like that abandoned factory, for instance, or the greenhouse I told you about before, since like being there and filming there was not allowed technically. But we never put ourselves in unnecessary danger. I promise that.
Okay, well, is there anything else you think my listeners should know about you?
Maybe that I have a huge appetite for burgers. We have many great burger restaurants over here in Cologne where they serve like high quality burgers that taste much better than what you get at, let's say, a McDonald's or other fast food places. And I think burgers are probably my favorite food.
Well, do you have a Facebook or website for my listeners to follow you?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter if you just look for Phry McDustan there. And if you're on Facebook, for instance, you can join my Street Team group, which is a very cool and ever growing community with lots of like minded music fans from all over the world, where I also do live streams from time to time.
Okay, well, what is that one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, you are a very good interviewer, and I
Thank
really
you.
enjoy talking to you and answering your questions. But right now, I can't really think of anything. Sorry, but the questions you asked are they were great.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Fry, for being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Absolutely, and thanks again for having me.
No problem.
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
Well, thank you so much, Fry, for helping me with Math Corners. This week, we're going to do some more multi-step word problems. My dad is always good at finding new problems for me to solve. And today, we're going to talk about guitars. Ooh,
Wow.
okay.
Awesome.
A music store sells a used guitar for $120. This is $25 more than half of the cost of a new guitar of the same brand. So, what is the cost of a new guitar? Well, first, this is a real world problem because we do know that people do like to buy used items in order to save money. Okay, so to solve this, first you have to make a formula to solve the cost of a new guitar. So we know that the used one is $120, and that's $25 more than half of the value of the new one. So you subtract the 25 from the 120, you get $95, and that is half the cost of a new one. So now we just need to times 95 by 2 and get 190, which is the cost of a new guitar. Wow. So, Fry, did you ever find a new guitar for only $190?
Oh yeah, you can get like a cheap electric or acoustic guitar for that price, which are great for people who are just starting to play.
Okay. Now, Fry, my teacher said that I would use math every day. How do you use math in your work?
Oh, that's easy. Like, people say that music is basically math, and I strongly agree with that because you can, for instance, divide rhythms into quarter, eighth, and 16th notes, and you can play interesting licks and solo lines with triplets, for instance, that you'll have to fit within a 4/4 bar, which can be very challenging for beginners at first. And those are just a few examples. Like we also work with intervals and 7-note or 5-note scales, which give you like endless possibilities of adding and combining all of the notes.
Now, thank you so much, Fry, for your help with Math Corners.
You're welcome. I enjoyed that.
And now it's time for the Heart of a Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the heart of a lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility. This week, we're going to talk about leadership. For me, I think leadership is the act of loving what is good, having self-control, and being disciplined. Well, the qualities of leadership are providing guidance and direction, organization, and being a positive influence on others. Well, this week, I was on a computer job with my dad, and he was installing some new phones for a law firm. And he asked if he could take one to his office so he can learn all about it. Well, the lawyer said yes, and after a few hours of playing around, my dad learned all sorts of stuff and even found a way to put their logo on the screen of the phone. Well, this was leadership because my dad took the time to study the phones after the job so he would be organized and able to provide guidance when the client has an issue with their phones. So, Phry, did you see or use leadership at all this week?
Oh yeah. Whenever I teach or work with my community, I either lead or guide my students in their efforts to become great musicians. And I lead my community by offering new and exciting topics to talk about, and maybe sometimes even give them advice when they have questions about music too.
Okay. Well, of all of the Heart of the Lion virtues, which is leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility, which is the one that you see the most?
I think integrity. To
Why?
me, that's the most important thing, because if you focus on that, you'll always like have a north star that you can follow, and you're always on the right track. I'd say that, yeah.
Well, we should always try and be lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
Absolutely.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing Phry McDustan for being on my show. It has been so much to talk to you today. I think you learned a lot about being a rock guitarist and an instructor.
Thank you so much for having me, Tiberius. And I had a great time being here and getting to know you better. You're doing a great job. Much respect.
Thank you. Do you mind giving your social media and website again?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. You can find me anywhere on social media if you just look for Phry McDustan. And my website is music.frymcdunstan.com.
Well, also you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Tiberius Show. And I would like to thank WWPR 1490 AM, KINT 98, Soul Radio 24/7, Easy Way TV, and all the other stations that air my show. Please visit The Tiberius Show on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Hey, Phry, have you subscribed yet?
Absolutely. I subscribed and I watched a lot of your videos already, and I really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
them.
Oh, and leave a comment if you want to get into guitar. Also, be sure to listen to us next week on The Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.